Now, there are these guys who have been telling us that we Africans ought to support Kamala Harris, and others are even saying that the black population in the US should actually vote Kamala Harris because of their race. Now, I think if you're African, you need to support Donald J. Trump, because the presidency of Donald J. Trump will really benefit the whole of Africa as compared to a Democrat kind of leadership. And we'll start with the whole conflict that is taking place in Europe. That is Russia and Ukraine. Now, the presidency of Donald J. Trump, he has already promised that once he is elected, he will ensure that there is a political agreement between Ukraine and Russia, and that will ensure peace is returned in that region. As a result, we import the whole continent, especially Africa. We import a lot of things coming in from Russia and from Ukraine, and that will mean that very many things, very many of our commodities that we're using in Africa, the prices will actually drop. If it is fertilizer, if it is wheat, if it is corn, etc. You know, these are very many things that are likely to drop. And since the war thing will have ended, then the whole continent, the whole African continent stands to gain. Because right now we have Joe Biden and the presidency in the White House, yeah? And these guys have been funding more, sending more money, US taxpayers' money into the war in Ukraine and prolonging that war. Instead of the Democrat Party, you know, when we were growing up, we were being told how the US was standing for peace, blah, blah, blah. But right now, instead of the US having Ukraine and Russia sit on the same table, you know, negotiate for peace, these guys are busy encouraging the war, and this war is affecting the whole world, including Africa. You know, you have very many things that we are importing from these countries, and these things have become even much more expensive. So, guys, I think it is very important that the US population gets to vote for Donald J. Trump. In addition, and this is very important, the US taxpayers' money is being used to finance a war that has nothing to do with them. In fact, every time the Americans are actually told that if we don't deal with the war in Ukraine, blah, 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 this war will get to our borders. But that is not actually true. Russia is miles away, you know, and Russia has actually genuine concerns. They have genuine concerns that if we had a very stable leadership in the US, they'd sit down with the Russians, the Ukrainians, and try and find some sort of negotiation, a true negotiation. And that is what Donald J. Trump promises. And in addition to that, the American taxpayers' money that is being sent to Ukraine, etc., that money will get to benefit Americans themselves in their own country. And that is something that is very important, because in the US, you have very many people who are very homeless. You have the drug problem. You have the gun problem. And these are issues that are not being resolved. Instead, you're having the US send millions and billions of money to the economy in Ukraine, you know, to the war in Ukraine. And this money is what could have helped the US population do very many things that I believe that money could have been able to do. So I think we Africans need to look in that perspective. Personally, as an African, I'm very concerned with the Democrat presidents, because I don't know. You might wake up the next day, my neighboring country, let's say Uganda, is at war. And just because the US said we don't like these guys, or NATO decided and say we don't like this country, and the next morning they are busy bombing this country and destroying it, and the refugees from that country are busy flooding into other countries like ours, and yet we have nothing to do with whatever they were doing. Race doesn't help. In fact, we had Obama as the US president, and Obama ended up bombing Libya and even messing Africa in itself. So that doesn't really help in any way. You know, we shouldn't be voting leaders based on their gender, race, etc. No. We should be voting leaders based on their policies, and that is quite important. Guys, if you really liked what I've said in this video and the kinds of content I produce, kindly feel free to donate whatever you can through my PayPal. There is my PayPal link below. There is my phone number. You can always send something over there. The donations actually help in analyzing the contents we do, even repairing some of the equipment you're using. Like right now, I have a camera problem. I need to fix it, just as I had said in my previous video.